So I want to take a look at this new Dungeons and Dragons starter set, 2 to 6 players. I love getting starter sets for the value. I mean, for the money that you put into it, you usually get quite a bit. Now, I have every starter set that's come out, so why do I need this one? Ignore the dragon. These are very familiar characters. If you watched the old cartoon series, these will be very familiar characters to you. This is what has me intrigued. I'm curious about that. Just got this in the mail. Let's take a look at it. This set includes 48-page adventure booklet with everything you need to get started, 32-page rulebook for playing characters of levels 1 to 3. Now that's a lot lower than the first one. The first one, Lost Minds of Fendel, lets you go all the way up to 5. So you are going to get less adventure. 5 pre-generated characters, each with a character sheet, and 6 game dice. And I believe in the original beginner box, you got more dice than that, if I remember correctly. And then it tells you how you can expand your play. But, you know, let's take a look at this. One thing I will say is that Lost Mine of Fendelver didn't have as sturdy a box. This is a nice board game style box. Feels like there's a lot of empty space in there. Let's throw that trash to the side. First, let's take a look at this awesome artwork here. I wonder if they give credits where credit is due. Characters, manufacturer, printed, made China. Hopefully the information is on the inside. So once again, empty, you know, a blank lid. They could have put like a map in here or something, or a GM screen information. There are lots of ways that you can utilize that really don't add too much to the cost. These are going to be your dice. A nice metallic warbly. Let's get these out of there. It does look like a really nice dice set. I wish you got more dice in there, but these are a really nice blue, if you can see that. I mean, they are not chintzy. These are a nice, good starter set to go with. So you do not have a D4. So I'm assuming there's no wizard in here. But again, we have artwork here. Let's bring that down. Another familiar character from the cartoon series. So we've got our 20-sided die. You just have one of them, so I guess you have to roll it twice for advantage, disadvantage. We have a D12, we've got a D10, we've got a D8, and we have a D6, so no D4. Oh no, D4 got stuck in the bag. Look at that, we do have the D4. Yeah, we got the full gamut. Only thing I wish is that they had had a 7th die in there, so that you would have that, but you know, it's just to get started with. And they do look like nice dice. So first up, we have Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, running the adventure, GM tips. Chapter 1, The Dragon's Rest. Chapter 2, Seagrow Caves. Chapter 3, Cursed Shipwreck. Chapter 4, Cliff Top Observatory. Then you have magic items and creature stat blocks. So it looks like the cover illustrator was Karl Kopinski. Neat. Interior illustrators, Olivier Bernard, Christopher Burdett, Conceptopolis. I remember that name from when I played L5R. They had a lot of artwork for AEG. It's kind of like a culmination of artists all working through one company called Conceptopolis. Hector Ortiz, Alex Stone, cartography, Mike Schley. I always like looking at those. It doesn't look like they have playtester credits on that. Oh, and so the very back is going to be the last part of your, let's pull the box to the side here so we can get a better look at the book. I'm not going to be able to look at the full thing on my camera angle, but looks like we got violet fungus, we got zombies. So yeah, every bit of space of the adventure book has been used. Get these dice out of the way here. Running the adventure overview, it's very well laid out. Number of players, getting started, the Forgotten Realms. You got your adventure background here, so as a GM you know what's going on, the outline of how the adventure should flow, and how to work with maps. We've got a map here at the Stormwreck Isle. You've got your sub-hexes. One hex is half a mile, so a good distance off of shore. GM tips, how to run the game. It looks like it's really well laid out. Oh, and here we go. We got some more artwork of familiar characters from the cartoon series. Yeah. So I'm really intrigued about the pre-generated characters. I'm wondering if it is the characters, because the last time we had D&D stats for them was when they released a box set on DVD, and it was for, I want to say it was 3.5. I want to say it was 3.5. We had rules for that. It came out towards the end of 3.5. We got Dragon's Rest. And I'm not going to, I just want to show you some of the maps in here and how things are laid out. Some of the artwork really helps get your players and you as the GM involved in the setting. Another beautiful piece of artwork here. We have a character that I'm not familiar with. You know, a lot of iconography from the cartoon show, but then this character I'm not that familiar with. So maybe that's an NPC, maybe a sidekick. How to end the chapters, another beautiful piece of artwork here. Again, some familiar characters from, this kind of looks like a gremlin from Gremlins too. I mean, they had lightning gremlins, why not a dragon gremlin, you know? Magic items, boots of Elvenkind, so some familiar stuff, +1 weapons, spell scrolls. And then we have our stat blocks, how to read them, so it gives you everything that you need. Limited usage abilities, dragons, blue dragon wormlings. We have a named one here, Runara. That's awesome, so that's going to play into the adventures. Fire snakes, but they're using the artwork for the salamander. So I'm wondering if the fire snakes are salamanders in here. We have fume drakes. That sounds awesome. Harpy kobolds, winged kobolds. So some familiar stuff, and it looks like some new stuff in here. Sinensa, looks like a named mushroom. Large plant, myconid. We got some owlbears in there. Spore servant octopus. We're not even going to show you those stats just because, I mean, that's awesome. Look at that. Alright, so that is going to be our adventure book. I don't want to show you everything just because, you know, half the fun of this is just exploring. How to continue your journey, what books to get, where to go from here, how to get involved in the D&D community. Welcome adventurer. After you play, tell us what you think. So there's a QR code. We then have our starter set rulebook. It looks like this is going to lay everything out for you as well. You got Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons, getting started, rhythm of play, game dice, how to use everything, terms to remember. That'll definitely incorporate you. Well, let's take a look at where we got terms to remember. Adventure, character sheet, creature, dungeon, encounter, monster, object, player character, stat block. Yep, those are all terms that you're going to need to know. Then you have playing the game, equipment, spells, and conditions on the back cover. Let's take a look at that. Now that's nice. I'm going to have to print this out just to hand it to my players. It gives you all the main conditions here. Duration, no stacking. If multiple effects impose the same condition on a creature, each instance of the condition has its own duration. We'll just take a flip through, see what sort of artwork we can see in here. We got some classic watercolor artwork up here, nothing fancy. Here's a nice one. So this looks more like a cleric, whereas in the cartoon he was supposed to be a paladin. Looks like we have a new cleric character there, going up against some undead, getting ready to turn and channel. Rogues like to ambush their foes. I mean, that's true. That's true. I mean, technically correct. What do we got here? Wizards often take the cast a spell action. Again, not wrong. Half cover and 3/4 cover. What does that look like? Well, here you go. Half cover and 3/4 cover. When in doubt, always carry a barrel with you. We have some full color artwork here. That's nice. This would make a great playmat for like Magic the Gathering or something. That'd be awesome. I mean, it's the perfect size. Well, scale. And you got all your equipment, venturing gear. I mean, you get everything in here. Lines, cubes, spell effects, spell descriptions. I mean, you get everything in here that you need to start playing. What's next up? Next up, we have, looks like we got some character sheets here. Part of me is a little sad, though. I mean, we got our cleric. We got plenty of nice stats here. Wisdom. I love that they include a negative. It just helps get people into the role-playing side of things, because you're always going to want to try and make sure that you don't have a penalty unless you're trying to max out some really key stats. But then a lot of people really don't role-play that. So, I mean, how is the cleric going to lean into having a -1 dexterity modifier? I mean, it's great for a cleric because odds are you're going to be going later in initiative, which allows you to see who gets damaged, and then you can heal them. Alright, so it looks like it's a hill dwarf. You got a background. It's a really well made out. I mean, it's nice quality paper. You get your artwork right here. Let's see who else we get. I mean, I'm a little sad that these don't appear to be these characters. I mean, it's apparently not. I mean, that was kind of the big draw for me buying this was, oh great, we're going to have stats for those characters. We're going to be able to, you know, jump in and start playing as if it was the cartoon series. That doesn't look like the case here. So we got our wizard. Nope, no presto. So it looks like we got some sort of halfling rogue. Yep. Then we've got a human paladin. And ranger. Wood elf fighter instead of ranger. So I mean, the character sheets are really nice. But this is what you're getting. You're getting your character sheets. You're getting your starter set rulebook. You are getting your Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. And you are getting a small set of dice. The remaining content, I can't pick up the D4. There we go. The remaining content of the box is this space filler insert. I did not need to spend money on this. It's just in there to make it look like you actually got your money's worth for this large box. I mean, look at all that extra empty space in there. Did not need to be that way. Could have made a smaller box. Or could have put more in here. Nothing that says they couldn't have done a GM screen of some fashion. The artwork is a little misleading. It does not appear that the pre-generated characters are the characters from the D&D cartoon series, even though they're luring you in with the artwork. little disappointed in that. Not gonna lie. Do I recommend this? I feel like Lost Mines of Phandelver is a better starting spot. The downside to that is some of the rules in there are going to be different than the core rules, because Lost Mines of Phandelver came out before the full rules for 5th edition were even finalized. So if I remember correctly, you're going to have scrolls in Lost Mines of Phandelver that anyone can use. They then changed that where you need to be able to be a spellcaster in order to use those. So little things like that. However, I feel like the adventure is great. It's very well written. I think it was actually contracted from authors of Cobalt Press. And you can kind of feel that with Lost Mines of Phandelver compared to some of the other adventures that are out there. Curious, I am going to sit down and read Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. Don't like how it's only 1 to 3, first level to 3rd level, because a lot of the adventure campaign books that are out there take into account Lost Mines of Phandelver, where you can end up at level 5. So you can do Lost Mines of Phandelver as your starting adventure, and then go directly into the 5th level area of some of the books, like Horde of the Dragon Queen. Storm King's Thunder does that as well. A lot of the campaign books have that incorporated into it. I'm not sure where this is going to fit. That's something neat to pick up, sure. If you can find this for $15, sure. However, I think a lot of the MSRPs out there are going to be about 25 or 30. I don't think it's worth 25 or 30. That's just my opinion. You don't get nearly as much as you do from any of the other 2 starter sets. Well, the 1 starter set, and then the, I guess, the enhanced starter set. This is lacking in content from what I've seen, as well as, I feel like catfishing, I guess, is the term. I guess this would be applicable to that. Huge box, yeah, it looks good on a store shelf. Half of it was taken up by this piece of filler. I did not need to spend money on that. You could have given me a thinner box at a cheaper price, and you could have actually given me pre-generated character stats for the cartoon characters. Oh well. It'll still be fun to read. It'll give me some content to work with. I can throw this in. It'll be quick to, whip out and run through at the local game store without the full progression of Lost Mines of Phandelver. So that is something. Hope taking a look at this has given you some information. Most everything that I've said obviously is my opinion. Opinions are going to vary. Kind of wish I didn't pick it up. Wish I had known beforehand that this is just the artwork. Maybe they appear in the adventure as NPCs, but this box art kind of implies that these are going to be your pre-generated characters. And I was let down that was not the case. But you know what? We're at 18 minutes. We're going to make this a 20-minute video. Let me get these pre-generateds out. So let's take our fighter. The fighter should have an item, because in the cartoon, it was a magic bow that fired energy bolts. Can we give that to first level characters? Sure, why not? Have it be a bow that does magic missile. I mean, wizards can do magic missile at first level, or something like that. Or maybe have it be a bow that progresses as they level up. So at first level, it does the effect of a cantrip. Shocking Grasp or Chill Touch or something like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. None of the monsters that I saw they don't really care about if you have a magic weapon or not. It's not like you're putting them up against werewolves. So, no, not there. The next thing would be, I'm not worried about the paladin. In the cartoon, it was a magic shield. I'm not worried about the rogue. It was a cloak that gave invisibility. The wizard, Presto's hat, he could pull random things out of it. Spell slots, attack, short swords. The wizard has a short sword? Short, I guess. Sage, high elf spellcasting, spellbook. nothing about a magic hat. Yep. So I was correct. It just looks like the artwork is there to lure in fans of the cartoon or old D&D players that probably haven't played but remember the cartoon fondly and want to experience that sort of adventure. It's not going to happen. Sorry about that. But again, hope everyone enjoyed this video. Hope it was informative. This should be hitting store shelves here in a couple days. I believe the official release date is the 31st or the 1st. I just happened to get my hands on a copy a little extra early. Again, hope this helps. You all take it easy.